Hello, my fellow readers. This is iDarkSymphony777 with another fanfiction review. As always, link to the stories will be in the description below. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, click on that bell for notifications, leave a comment in the comment section below on your thoughts of the story. And finally, this is my opinion. My opinion is not indicative of the world, so please respect that. So I am still making my way through the Luniverse. Here's actually all the stories, and also ignore this. I'm playing like Kirby on the side because because it's a very stressful time and I need to play something. But yeah, right. These are the stories I have. These are the stories I love. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 14. 14 stories left. And currently I'm on this one. Nope, not this one. There we go. But this story we're going to be doing Greengrass Night and Tales of Ponyville. The reason I'm doing these two stories together is, first off, I might as well mention why I'm doing the Luniverse in patches instead of like a story by themselves. Instead I'm doing like every video of like two stories. There's not a lot that happens that should be taught. That's not really going to be talked about because there's only so much you can repeat. Oh, this very basic scenario happened. And then you get less like 10 minutes. Not to mention there's like so many stories that I need to at least get through some of them. And for example, this story, these two stories, they don't really have much of a plot. They are pure character pieces. Pure character pieces. So if you want me to talk about the plot, since we're gonna move on, this is just a normal day for them. They're just doing things. Like Raindrops is in the rain, and then she just runs into Trixie, who's trying to learn something, and then Cherylee joins them, and then Cherylee. Oh, the best part of this story. Cherylee finds out, misinterprets that Trixie doesn't know the segs. She doesn't know the birds and the bees, and we get like a very graphic thing. Not enough to be M-rated, but it's actually pretty hilarious. And then Lyra and Bon Bon, they just basically goof off. Trixie, Carrot Top, and Rainbow Dash, they team up to just basically help Fluttershy go to the spa and try and get her to open up, and Rarity's kind of being intrusive. And then Derpy just basically is just delivering mail, doing her best. And then Greengrass' night is basically just Greengrass just going around talking to other politicians in the night court, and that's pretty much it. That's it. There's nothing to that plot. Just I need to do some evil planning and scheming. Yes, but these are character pieces. So while we make up for in plot, we get in very good character development of not only Greengrass, but also all the Luna main six, as well as Rarity and Fluttershy, and I kind of guess Rainbow Dash. Nah, probably not Rainbow Dash. So let's start with Tails. We get to see more of not Rainbow Dash. Why was I saying Rainbow Dash? Raindrops. Raindrops falling, being more in tune with the rain. We see the story actually starts off with her and the weather team actually looking out towards the Everfree Forest, where there's a big storm cloud coming up. But they're all trying to figure out what to do about it. Rainbow Dash ultimately decides to put up a vote because the rain. It's just gonna be rain, and they already promised the farmers that they were gonna get rain. So it's like they put up a vote. It's like, all right, who wants to just let the storm do its thing? Raise your hand. And of course, Raindrops actually among that because she wants the rain. She wants all the rain. And she also sings. Honestly, it's anything. This is probably the only weak part about this entire story is the singing. Songs has never been able to be properly do well in the transition from to literature ever. It's very rare. It's very rare when a story is able to translate that really well. I think only like two times I've actually seen it done well, and the first one was total. One was another pony story about like an evil pinky. I think it was an evil pinky, and she's like singing in an asylum. And then the other one is Total Alternate Island, where one of the original characters sung "Thousand Miles" by Vanessa Carlton. But yeah, that's those are like the only two times I've ever seen songs actually integrated well into the story. There might be more, but those are the only times. Those are the two times I can think of. But yeah, that's that. And then of course we got Trixie. We get a very deep dive into Trixie. I think Trixie, weirdly enough, got the bulk of it. She's the main character. It makes sense, trying to make her parallel Twilight Sparkle. Where we find out she's very insecure. She's so deathly afraid of losing her friendships that she actually okay. So let me she go right over here. There you go. We actually get right here where she made like a mental list of all the friends she had, and she never really kept any. Like before she went to Ponyville, Lyra was kind of the closest thing, kind of, sort of. And she had friends. They all moved. Some moved away. Some she inadvertently screwed over. And then there's also the Ice Palace again. And our story just basically just seeing, trying to do a spell, not a spell. Yeah, no, trying to do a spell, and then inadvertently hurting her secretary, Pokey Pierce's feelings. And this is actually one of the only. This is like the only really no one of two big character arcs. Part of the Night Court arcs. It happened. One happens in this one. The other one happened in the Ditzy story. So for this one, we actually see the Truth is a Scourge potion make a return. If you notice from Helping Hands, that one of the potions from the Zebra book that Trixie asked for was Truth is a Scourge. In this chapter, it's revealed that she actually made it and she tested herself. It basically is like a truth serum, but you learn to just not stop talking. And that caused her to hurt Pokey's feelings because she couldn't control herself. And then she's very feeling down. And then she tells Raindrops about it. Raindrops is very affronted, and she basically breaks down and tries to beg Raindrops forgiveness. I'm like, please don't lose me. I don't want to lose another friend. And they basically kind of have like a heart to heart. And Trixie lays bare her insecurities. Like she's that desperate to keep her friends that she's almost willing to do anything. And Raindrops kind of just trying to help her out a little bit, and then they get dried up, and then she comes out, and then she comes back with like Trixie being like completely confused with like with Lyra and Cheerilee. And of course we got the next two stories where Cheerilee, which honestly needed the most. She was without a doubt the weakest character. It's basically more or less just talking, kind of alluding to her backstory, where she kind of had a very cavalier life. So she's basically like a delinquent. Who just wanted to goof off and be like a party animal, like her sister Berry Punch was. And then one day she basically just wanted to decide, I'm going to become a teacher, and so she kind of left that old life behind. This actually plays a part in this story, but it's really the only connection they have with any other stories. Hero Oten is very secular. It's very much his own thing. That story is going to be like talked about by itself because that's a big story. But yeah, more or less, Cheerilee's whole thing is that she's contemplating life, kind of like Trixie, but in a different avenue, where she's thinking, have I really done anything? Am I lonely? Do I? It's kind of it's it's a midlife crisis. It's basically like a pony-esque midlife crisis, with her wanting, like her just wondering and talking about cutie marks and a little bit of her life. It's very very cutesy and well done. And then she goes and helps out Dinky and Apple Bloom by taking them home. And then she runs into Lyra and Bonbon. Lyra and Bonbon decide to play a prank by using the rainwater, just splashing water on her. And then Charlie gets involved into it. And they kind of make fun of the whole human thing, where like, where Bonbon's going in, he's like, maybe I can ask Trixie to turn Lyra back into that naked bear. It's like, no, please no, please no, please no, no. And then they basically allude to the fact that Trixie doesn't really like that sort of thing. Cheerilee, of course, misinterprets of Trixie being a virgin. That's of course, she's a teacher. That means she's a virgin. And of course, we get like the very, very hilarious, extremely hilarious moment. Where is it? It's down here. Where is it? Oh, right here. See, we're starting with the basics. Yeah, see. And it's just basically, it just goes off on a mad tangent of her sex life. It's like, things get really weird with Minotaurs involved. But that fun kind of weird that I mentioned. Here, it's like, it just weirdly goes off on a ridiculous tangent. At the end, Trixie's like, Trixie.exe mind not working. Would you like to update new software? And it's just really quirky. And it's just massively hilarious. And then you have Lyra and Bonbon. They basically just does a lot of music stuff. And it's very lovey-dovey. That's another thing, is each chapter kind of has its own tone, its own vibes it's trying to accomplish. With Chera, with Stormweather, it's more like a lackadaisical story. Trixie's chapter is very serious with her insecurities. Cherilee's is just very comedic. Lyra and Bonbon's, it's just basically very kind of soap opera-y. The Carrot Top thing is just basically just like them helping out. It's just very caring. And then, of course, you have Ditzy with just wandering around, talking to people, helping out, and just being. It's just a general feel-good vibe at the end of it. So with Lyra, it's basically just them going off, talking about it, and it has some. It's just lovey-dovey stuff. Like there has some like romantic comedy elements to it, but for the most part, it's just a normal day. I think this is probably the weakest chapter, because there's not really much in the way of content besides what we haven't seen from previous stories with these two. It's just there. With Carrot Top chapter, it's just basically as you like it. We find out that Rainbow Dash deliberately did the vote because she wanted to had a spa appointment for Fluttershy, herself, and Carrot Top, and she realized, well, with the rain here, there's a better chance for her to get there. So it's like okay, so it's nice bit of continuity. They go to the spa. They basically just relax. They spot Rarity spots Fluttershy. Carrot Top and Rainbow Dash basically tell her to get off, because Rarity's kind of pushing herself onto Fluttershy, so she doesn't really know how obtrusive she's being. She backs off for a little bit. And then they basically just go into a little small montage of them various details. Rarity comes back, and Rarity finds out that it's that she's not really welcome, but Fluttershy taking the initiative, like, I want to hear what she has to say. And of course, Carrot Top and Rainbow Dash are like, And of course, we have that. And then finally, we have um, with Derpy and just her going across various points of interest and meeting with other people. This is where the other big thing happens: is they actually get a formal letter from Princess Luna to attend the Grand Galloping Gala. As you all know, the big finale of the first season of Universe happens there. So now we have the big MacGuffin that's going to be used, the Truth and Scourge. That potion's going to play a very, very big part in at the Grand Galloping Gala. And we also find out that they've been formally invited, which causes them to go there because Luna wants to celebrate the fact that to officially celebrate the fact that they saved Equestria from Celestia. And this one's like, unlike the rest of them, Derpy's like a pretty complete character, even by this point. This is just kind of cleaning up, for the most part, cleaning up a lot of loose ends from the rest of the story, tying everything together, more or less, with her going around, just taking the mail and talking to other people. She talks to Pinky, she talks to Bon Bon, she talks to Pokey, kind of cheers them up. I believe she talks to Barry. Yeah, she talks to Sparkler and all that sort of thing. It's just a classic feel good story. There's a lot to talk about with that, but there's nothing really substantial because it's just her talking and cheering people up. Perfect for the element of kindness. Greengrass's Night is more interesting because this is a story where we actually get a look into Greengrass's personality. Because if you've been keeping up with the Luniverse, last story was Carrot Top season where we were officially introduced to him. He managed to force Octavia to try and get Fire away from him. He basically ordered Full and Flam to try and get Carrot Top away from her, to him. And we find out that there's not really much in the way of character development outside of Greengrass. This is purely to develop Greengrass exclusively as a character. There's other characters that show up, like Fancy Pants and Blue Blood and other members of the Night Court, but this is basically just Greengrass's story. So, Greengrass's character. Greengrass. It's going to be so annoying saying that name. Alright. Yeah. Sorry, I had to go somewhere. Do some things. Where was I? I just realized. Where was I? How far did I get? What is the meaning of life? Why am I going on non sequitur? I don't know. So, Greengrass. So, here's the whole stick with Greengrass. He likes weeding. No, I'm not joking. His whole shtick is that he likes to weed. His whole cutie mark is just a red X. Yeah, it's nothing creative, nothing spectacular like a starburst or a wand or some raindrops, just an X. A red X. A big right old tramp stamp on that little porty pony's ass. He apparently, when he was growing up, he was attempting to garden, and then some weeds took over. He managed to successfully take over the weeds. He got the cutie marks that way. He's very resentful of his father, who spent 50 years basically trying to make Equestria a safer place, and basically retired in like his 70s, and just wanted to be a good role model. Greengrass hated that, and he eventually turned his cutie mark talent of weeding into politics, where he basically learned, hey, I'm very, very good at reading people and manipulating people. So he basically just manipulates everyone around him, and the moment they stop being useful, he basically was able to come up with like very creative ways to basically screw them over, and he gets away scot-free. And his ultimate plan is to basically usurp Luna. Like that's basically it. Now the Greengrass character is more developed. He does act. He at times with his number two notary, he does act very childish, which is why he's very young. He's very ambitious, but at the end of the day, he's still more or less acting like this is nothing more than a game to him. Like this is I don't see it as like me wanting to rule. No, I'm just treating this as like an actual game, something to be won, something to be fought over, something that I need to win. I need to be number one. He's basically like Waluigi in a way. And that actually, in a way, that actually kind of contrasts perfectly with Trixie, because Trixie, at the start, acted the same way. She was very showboaty. She was very childish. However, she realized that ultimately she needs to change in order to fight Celestia, in order to be a better person, in order to has something she's never had before as friends, and that offers a nice symmetry with Greengrass as he never seemed to grow. He never experienced the same thing. Same grow up. They both want to assimilate into Night Court. Trixie just goofed up because she's basically a drunk and a showboat. While Greengrass like to hide in the shadows, we manipulate everything to a situation. But ultimately, unlike Trixie, he's not going to grow out of it. There is a supposedly a non-canon thing, I don't know for sure, where he kind of resents himself, when he kind of resents it, and he basically leaves the Night Court. I don't know much about that story because I don't think that story is actually complete. I don't think it is. I really don't think it is. I'm trying to remember it. I know it's in season two, but I don't know if it's complete. If it's not complete, then I haven't read it yet. But regardless, he's very much a child. He's very much a child at heart. A very corrupt, spoiled child who's basically like, he had everything handed to him. His father just wanted him to be a nice person. And he basically twisted that with his talent of wanting to control everything, because again, he just sees earning these people favors as a way to get under them and get over them and beat them at their own game. A game to be played, a game to be won. And that makes Greengrass a very dangerous individual, which is why, for the most part, despite the fact all the Night Court really want the elements, Greengrass is the only one really looking to actively try and get them. The best analogy I could think of is my friend from Germany, Mead, who basically said something to it's a relation to something personal. I'm not going to touch upon, so I'm going to only like briefly allude to it. It's something. It's something to be won, a prize to be had. Greengrass doesn't want it for the reason you think. He doesn't want it to want to protect the country. He doesn't want to protect it. It is kind of implied somewhat that he does. The reason he wants it is because he thinks, it's Trixie. She's just manipulating the situation. She's coying under Luna to do whatever she wants, and the elements need to be controlled. They need to be reigned. They need to be regulated. All this stuff. He basically just wants them as trophies. He doesn't care about them as personality. He just wants them to have them because in his plans, they are the ultimate prize. He uses the elements, the stepping stone, to overthrow Luna, and thus he wins the biggest prize of them all: control of Equestria for him to do as he please. If you actually read the entire series, it blows up in his face massively. But yeah, that's these two stories. There's not much in the way of grammar. I mean, I don't think either of these have grammar errors. I cannot. Oh yeah, that's spoiling. Yeah, Notary actually was actually one of Charity's friendships in this story. She mentioned, oh, I hung out with a bunch of people. Apparently, it's revealed that Notary was one of them. I think. No, I don't think that. I think it's only mentioned in season 2 or very late in at the Grand. No, it's briefly alluded to. I believe in at the Grand Galloping Gala. So many stories I've read. So many. But yeah, that is Greengrass's Night and Tales of Ponyville. Um, there's not in the way of grammar errors. There's not in the way of pacing because these are very more because again these are just heavily character story driven stories. Not really in the way they're just meant to showcase. Here are the characters. Here's how they grow. Here's some thirst for knowledge for them. So basically, the pacing just boiled down to what you wanted to tell. And for that, it's good. These two stories did a good enough job. I don't have anything to complain about with these two stories. I would suggest go out of the way there to go read them. They're among the better stories of the first half of season 1. No wait, we're now past the half point. We're in the second half now. Where Scooter Along was the halfway point. Yeah, these are continuing the trend of like the good stories. All these stories are good in their own way, except for this one. I really, really do not like this one. But yeah, besides these two are good. Go out of your way to read them, especially if you want to read like the whole Trixie thing. Trixie getting told about the birds and the bees by Cherry Lee, and like Trixie just dying on the inside. Oh please, have mercy, mid. But yeah, that is Greengrass Tonight and Tales of Ponyville. I will see you next time. This has been Dark Symphony 777, and